We'll see. Well, I've got my fingers crossed for you, motherfucker. Exactly. Can I swear?
Exactly.
I'm swearing anyway. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
But like feel free to literally say whatever you want.
Okay.
Don't feel like you have to.
Motherfucking shit, bastards, wankers. Yeah.
That'll be the opening of the podcast.
And please welcome Harrison Parker. Motherfucking shit, bastards, wankers.
Oh my God. Cue the music.
Hi guys, Tom here. As you might have heard from that first little bit, we were having some mic issues when we recorded this episode, but we really enjoyed this episode and we thought the content was really good, so we decided to publish it anyway. So yeah, you can still hear us fine, but we just wanted to apologise for any audio that might sound slightly off. Anyway, I'm sure you won't even notice it because you'll be having so much fun. So thanks for listening this far and enjoy the podcast.
Talk about whatever you want.
Talk about whatever I want. Can I talk about one pet peeve that I have?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
We can. This can be the like second start. Yeah. Count like a first start. And then
Is this like specifically in lockdown or just overall?
This is just overall, because there's a trend that I noticed with, so like, because obviously in lockdown you go for a couple of walks, you go for a few drives and stuff like that, and there's nothing I find a little bit stranger than when, I don't know if that's good English to say that, whatever, but it's whenever you sort of like go for walks and you see people have their trampolines in their front garden. And yet they have a back garden. Oh, what the fuck? They're everywhere. I just don't understand. You have a back garden, you've got this like rusty ass old trampoline with no plastic around the outside, it's just springs.
Oh my God.
And then this is on like your front garden. It just looks a bit wrong to me. It just looks a bit wrong. Don't fuck with a bitch that's got a trampoline in her front garden. She'll whoop your ass.
She'll throw that thing at you.
Yeah.
They're people you shouldn't talk to.
Yeah, they are people. Just avoid them. Yeah. This is where all your listeners of trampolines in their front gardens are like, hey! But you know what?
Fair,
I said what I said.
We have a huge listenership with rusty trampolines in their front gardens. That's a
a sponsorship. The ghetto.
I love that as a pet peeve. It's something you don't think about, but when you mention it, you're like, actually, yeah, that is really annoying.
I've just never seen it, and I'm shook. Like, I can't believe people would do that.
No.
Such a thing does exist.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people do it, because it's sort of like these people tell their kids not to play in public because they're worried about sort of what creeps are around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're bouncing on a trampoline in their front garden looking like bait.
They're literally showing themselves up high to everyone.
Oh my God.
Maybe this is the wrong way to talk about it. I don't know. But these are the issues I have. These are the issues I have with that shit.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
So good.
Also, I guess we should probably mention, like, for listeners and for you, Harrison, you have the privilege of recording the first ever episode where we're all together.
I know.
Like, we've all been on Skype and stuff before, but now the lockdown rules are easing, we're actually in the same room. So you're welcome.
Oh, really?
Harrison. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? It's kind of funny as well, because I thought with this, even though we're sort of like in lockdown and it's ending, I didn't know if I'd be like coming to any of your bitches' houses. So I put on a nice outfit. I've got some nice black flares on. Oh. I've got this sort of like white, black and red jumper, and I've got some socks to match, you know.
Oh, goodness, flares are back.
Matching socks.
Flares are back.
Can you take a picture and send it?
Yeah, we'll post it on our Instagram page if you want.
I shall. I'll do it, not post-haste, but I'll do it in a bit.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. We have
Howdy.
That is a different voice. Which means, guys, we have a special guest.
Put in some claps there.
Yeah, we'll put it
If not, I'll just have us going. This is a very good friend of ours from back in our school days. We all met Harrison.
Which weren't that long ago.
No. Well, could be.
Feels like it.
But this is the lovely Harrison Parker. Hello,
What
Harrison.
is up, you prostitute? You bunch of whores.
We told
What is
Harrison,
the tea, sisters?
we told Harrison like 5 minutes ago he could say whatever he wanted.
And he's
It was a mistake on their part.
No, it's great.
We shall not give my last name because I do not want to be sued.
No, good.
That's fine.
Please don't give me a summons.
How are you doing, Harrison?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just chilling out to the max, making the most of furlough before it ends, you know. Because like you were saying the other day on one of your podcasts that you've done sort of like quite good things with it. Like you started cooking and doing other bits like that, baking and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been...
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying is the word.
Yeah.
Trying is the word, I see. Well, there's nothing wrong with trying.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I've been trying to do similar things. I built a driveway.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
solid.
who would have thought gay guys could be so masculine? Who would have thought? I'd
Wait,
tell
you're
ya.
gay?
Yeah, would you believe it?
What? I've known you all these years. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, I hide it so well, you wouldn't believe.
What a way to come out. What a platform.
Oh, yeah, everyone. Hear it first. It's news here. Watch this come out as breaking on BBC when it's releases, you know what I mean?
Left-wing podcast pushes gay agenda.
Yeah.
Bless
Well,
you.
I guess firstly, thanks for you actually came to us and said, "Can I be on the podcast?" And we were like,
Yeah,
we
why
were-
not?
we were
I
all
want to get involved.
Yeah, we were all like 100%. We have to have Harrison.
nice.
So
Yeah.
thanks for thanks for asking and agreeing. But also, I think just thanks for like feeling comfortable enough with us to use this as a platform to talk about something important. I guess.
Yeah, well, you know, you've got listeners everywhere. You know, this is a podcast. Everyone wants to listen. So, you know.
And especially as probably most of our listeners are based in and around Newbury and the surrounding areas that we record. And
This is true. Some people have probably heard my name, seen my name, but don't really know that much about me. So,
it's like a
you
whisper
know,
in the
this is a
wind.
good...
Yeah.
Passing
Yeah.
by.
Oh, how nice and romantic you make that sound.
I was thinking more horror /
Okay, fair enough.
No, it's just nice that someone trusts us enough and our like shitty listing podcast to you know use as a
Wow.
platform. So
Yeah, not necessarily a platform. I just wanted to kiki with you bitches.
yeah.
I have no agenda myself. I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat. Let's just have a chin wag,
It's been too long.
It has.
Definitely.
It has, definitely.
You know, I have a really vivid memory of the first time that we ever sort of like became friends, right? And I was thinking about this morning. I was like, I should probably talk to Harrison about this. It's the first time I ever came around your house, and we were in Sainsbury's because your mum used to work at Sainsbury's. Shout out to Sylv.
Back in the day, good old Sil, hey fam.
And my mum had just bought me Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii, and I was sat on the little sort of bench while she was paying, and she was chatting to your mum, and like our parents organised the whole thing, and then
A little play day.
Yeah.
What year was that? Was that year 8?
oh, do you know
That
what?
was 2018.
That was last year.
Do you remember,
Yeah, we did.
Anna?
Yeah.
Do you remember you and I getting that B in science? And Mr. Crab was like, what the fuck, you two? Like, how the hell did you get that? And we were just like, we know.
Harrison and I were in the lowest of the low set, weren't we, Harrison, for science?
Yeah.
Like, there was no hope in hell for us. And because we were foundation level, they were like, you can't get higher than a C, so your aim is just a C. And then we got these Bs, and we were like, what? I remember it.
We were untouchable.
Yeah.
Your cannons ready.
Yeah. Mr. Crab literally couldn't believe it.
I remember once in...
I came home that night and celebrated.
I know.
Oh, sorry, Jake, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, I remember once GCSE, my RE teacher said, if you get a C at GCSE, I'll give you a fiver. And then I got an A, and he gave me 10 quid. So
Oh,
That's
decent.
Oh.
tiny little profit for you there.
So yeah,
Yeah.
one way to bribe your students, I guess.
We also used to film little sketches. Do you remember?
I do. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I went up to Scotland a couple of months ago, just before lockdown happened. And while I was up there, I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I might as well go see Lawrence, because
Nice.
we always used to do it with him and everything. And I went up there, saw him on one of the days and everything. It was just really nice because we were reminiscing about sort of like all the sketches that we used to do as well. And then we were saying, I don't know if we could get away with saying the stuff that we did then now.
I was just thinking of some characters in my head, and I was like, can't talk about that one, can't mention that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times.
Do you think I could still get away with doing this one?
Oh my god, I completely forgot you did that all the time.
I'll tell you what, Andrew, if it wasn't for lockdown, I'd be rubbing your leg right now.
Oh my god.
I remember we did one sketch that was like hotel inspector in your house, and you were like...
Oh my god.
Were you
I was
like-
this like Polish woman.
Yeah, was it Ava? It might have been Ava. 'cause
Ava, yeah.
It was based
'Cause
on
I
the
copied her. What?
Were you gonna? I was gonna say I thought it was based on the lady from. This is gonna sound really bad. I thought it was based on the.
No,
lady
because
from
it is.
Auschwitz.
No, it is based on that. Yes,
was.
it is. It was based on that.
Let's
It's because
let's clear that
she-
up before we get cancelled. We went on a school trip to Auschwitz, and it was very nice, very peaceful, very respectful. But our tour guide was the worst, and her name was Ava, and no one could understand anything she said. We thought she was
The
talking
only
parcel
person
tongue.
who did understand anything was Carolina, because obviously Polish.
Yeah.
And then, oh, that sounds like I'm being a bit xenophobic, but I'm not. But yeah, so she was like, she muttered something under her breath, because remember we had headsets on.
Yeah, we thought she was speaking parcel tongue. That was like the joke.
No. It turns out she was saying, I'm always stuck with the fucking kids on these groups.
My God.
Oh no.
These fucking kids, I'm always with these fucking kids and stuff like that. And it was just a bit like, oh, because Carolina was wetting herself in the background. And we were like, why are you laughing at Auschwitz? And she was like, it's what she's saying. It's what she's saying.
Oh my god.
Oh,
But this was so long ago that we filmed this sketch that it was filmed on my like home camcorder with a
my
cassette
God.
tape inside.
literally. Oh no, do you remember like the flip cameras? Did we do it on a flip camera? where it
we
was
did
sort of like,
we did some on that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I just remember like I have a very distinct memory of like erasing like precious family memories so that I could film a sketch where I was a clown.
Literally, I taped over so many of like my debut like drama performances and stuff,
my God.
just so I could like film myself like leaping over the bonnet of my car in a dress. Like, what was I thinking?
Oh,
I swear our generation just, as soon as YouTube came along, we were just like, oh, we need to make
Yes.
everything all the
Go.
time. Let's just do it.
Mm,
we are that generation.
I definitely jumped on that hype. I wanted to be famous, but it didn't really go that well. Because here I am, just a head receptionist at a spa. But we shan't talk about that.
There's still time.
Yeah, for now.
There is still time. There is still time.
Garfield
Yes.
Crescent, the sketch show, could still pick up. You know.
That is what I called one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was quite a good idea, to be fair. It was a sketch show that was all based on one street called Garfield Crescent.
Yeah, because then I was sort of like, one character lived in one house, one character lived in another. Yeah. No one steal that, by the way, any of you listeners. That's copyright.
Yes.
I don't have the copyrights on me right now, but it is. Trust.
In process.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, patent pending. Well, you see, the thing is, at the moment with everything sort of like going on and sort of like where we're all like locked in at home, well, then again, some listeners of you might be listening to this and lockdown is just a distant memory. But then a lot of people are just, fingers crossed. Next week, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I just sort of like wanted to talk about sort of like self-acceptance and, you know, realising who you are. That's a very broad statement, I suppose. But it's sort of like coming to terms with the fact of sexuality and stuff like that. Because I lied to myself for quite a long time. And then I sort of like got very used to the fact that I might be who I am. And then I would sort of like go out with girls at school to distract the fact. And I feel sorry for them because they didn't really sign up for being a beard, did they? I made them a beard. And then it was sort of like I dumped my last girlfriend and just turned around to everyone and went, I'm gay.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I just feel like I feel like that was a bad way to do it. But I just wanted to sort of like talk about the fact that, you know, it is okay to be who you are. You know, don't have to censor yourself. Like, look at me, I'm saying fuck, shit, bollocks, wanker. You know, don't censor yourself. Be who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's okay to go through that period of like.
Oh yeah.
Out as well.
And
like, you shouldn't feel bad for having done all that because
no.
Any different.
The only thing I do feel bad for is the fact that because everyone took it so well, because I think it was like at school, it was like a long time coming sort of thing.
Do you think other people were onto the fact before you?
Oh, goodness gracious. Everyone was like, oh, Harrison, when are you going to come out? Just like, just do it. You're just wasting everyone's time.
And you were still like,
you know,
no.
Yeah, I don't know and everything. But it's because when I did come out of the closet and everything, and everyone took it so well because everyone was just like, oh, about time. Now I can actually get my 50 quid bet because I've just won a Ladbrokes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, people were putting bets on that shit. I got sort of like quite angry in general towards people that didn't look at me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I sort of like started fancying people and I sort of started getting quite angry towards people. Like, I'll come out right here and say it now. Tom, I did treat you like a piece of shit at school when I came out.
Do you know, I honestly, I don't remember that at all. I always just remember you being like a constant good friend. So...
oh, well, block out the bad memories. I'm glad you did, but I do remember that. This is a confessional now.
I think...
like, I did treat you like dog shit. So I was like, why won't you look at me? Why won't you look at me in a romantic way? For God's sake, everyone's gay.
I think maybe part of it for me is just because like I don't mean this in a sort of like judgmental way, but I always knew. Obviously,
everyone did.
You can't say that people can't surprise you, and that I'm not saying that everyone that is sort of, you know.
I mean, Philip Schofield surprised everyone.
Exactly. But I kind of always kind of knew, and I didn't care. So I wonder if maybe it was just kind of like letting you process it how you needed to. I don't know.
Do you think
and I did process it. But then with that, because I was so angry at everyone, I started dressing up. Do any of you remember my like jazzy jacket stage?
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Where I was like, would wear loud colours and I would wear all these like really cheap, like £5 New Look sale jackets and everyone.
You looked great.
And everything, rather.
You looked amazing.
You think? Oh, God. I look back at that time in disgust.
Oh, yeah, you owned it, Harrison. You made it work. It was really good.
Do you remember when I did like YCE, Young Corn Exchange, and I'd turn up in fur coats?
I do.
God above. And there was that girl that was like the vegetarian girl, and she was like, I don't approve of you wearing fur. And I was like, have you got leather shoes on? And she was like, yes. I was like, well, shut up.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I'm trying to remember, Harrison, like when you came out at school, like what year was it? Was it just before sixth form?
I was, yeah, because I was still in uniform.
Yeah.
I make that sound like I was in the police force. No. I still had the good old PHS blazer.
Yeah.
Back in Narm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Park House was our Narm.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you think it was, like you said, you were like getting angry at people for not kind of giving you attention? Do you think before you came out, was it that everyone was giving you attention, expecting you to come out, and then when you did, that attention went away? And
yes, it did a little bit because the limelight was no longer on me, and I'm just an attention whore.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say it like it is. I have terrible like FOMO, fear of missing out, and I just always like to be involved in the conversation. You know, so I just felt like it was a bit, not like a bit of a sideswipe. I just felt like everyone was like, "Oh, okay, you've come out. Let's focus on someone else now." But I was like, "No! I've still got plenty more to show you. I've still got plenty more to give."
Yeah. Do you think that's connected to your sexuality, in that like being ostracized because of your sexuality in most kind of cultures and stuff? Do you think that's linked in any way?
I don't know. I wasn't really ostracized for it. It's just that people sort of like, once I came out, everyone was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Now let's move on and talk about something else." But I was like, no, I still want to talk about this, you know?
I guess because you hadn't had that time to talk with everyone else about it that they had with themselves.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Did you find as well at school that obviously, like even from like the start of secondary school, I guess, like you just had people calling you gay constantly and you hadn't figured it out properly for yourself, or did you always know?
Do you know what? It was one of those things, because I thought I was bisexual for a long time, and I'll get onto quite a funny story of like my coming out to my nan. I don't think I've ever told any of you bitches this. But yeah, because I was at like primary school and everything. I always thought everyone was very pretty. Like there was no real sort of like girls were pretty and so were boys. And then it was like you go up into sort of like secondary school and everyone is still sort of pretty no matter what gender they are. And then it sort of like got to sort of like, this sounds really weird to say, but you've got to bear in mind that I was young at the time that I'm saying it, but the PE changing rooms when you're a gay 12, 13-year-old boy and you don't know who you are yet, that will tell you who you are.
Yeah.
That will tell you. It really will.
The PE changing rooms are just the absolute worst, aren't they? Like, they're so bad. Like, and it's where all the, like, laddie sort of culture kind of, I don't know, like comes together as well. Like,
but even like girls for
horrible.
girls, it's like the bitchy culture of girls judging like your bras and your bra size. Like it was bad for girls as well.
Was it really like that? Actually, I always just pictured girls to be a little bit more self-accepting.
No, it was judge central. Like you had like.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was like you got dressed quick. Otherwise, you saw people checking what your underwear was like, what your bra was like, or your weight. Or
really?
It was the worst. So it was like
the boys' changing rooms. It was more or less just people like George and Jamie just shouting meatball.
Oh God, yeah.
And then you'd sort of like look around the room a little bit. I make it sound like I was a pervert at that age, but you've got to bear in mind you're just sort of like looking around.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds weird me saying it now as like a 23-year-old, but bear in mind this was 10 years ago. But I was always like you, Anna. I was always the quickest to get changed. I didn't really sort of like faff about, but
like just get in, get out, like
literally.
And they were always like really small as well, so you were always on top of each other. Like there was never enough space.
God, it was like a pen, wasn't it? You felt like chickens.
Round who wants the
and it stunk
egg.
And
oh, don't remind me of the smell.
If you've just gone in after like a year 8 PE lesson. When they haven't discovered deodorant yet.
Oh, don't. The BO smell, the BO smell.
Right,
and it was people would always mask it with like Lynx Africa, and it's like, that shit is not going to change how you smell.
Speaking of
I just associate Lynx Africa with the smell of BO now. No offence if any of you are wearing it at this current moment.
No, smell take offence, please. Do not use Lynx Africa.
Unless you want to sponsor us, then.
Yeah.
Have you seen
by all means.
They're releasing Lynx Africa and Marmite deodorant and shower gel.
What?
Like that's the new
Marmite.
Yeah, Lynx Africa and Marmite as one.
They've just given up now.
Flavour and smell.
Oh. Anyway. I can't imagine that's going to take the world by storm.
No, I can imagine that probably is what the specific smell of like year 8 PE change rooms was.
Actually, Oh, because do you remember when like Lynx chocolate took over the world?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that advert?
The guy
really problematic.
Yeah. The guy was
made out of chocolate.
Yeah, because the guy was just chocolate. Yeah, and everyone was like, "Was they breaking pieces off of him, or is that just my imagination?"
That's right. Like a woman took a bite out of his arse. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I think they did actually. Oh God, I want to go on YouTube and watch that advert now.
This video is now banned in your country.
Probably.
Yeah. So Harrison, tell us about you coming out to your nan. Then I'm really intrigued to hear this story.
Oh yeah, so this was quite fun. I tried to come out to her before when I was 17, but it was sort of like, I don't know. We were in Pizza Hut at the time, and in Reading, getting the buffet because it was a Tuesday.
Salad bar. It's not really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, getting the bacon bits and everything.
Packed.
Oh yeah, just sort of like trying to work your way around everyone, and the only stall that hasn't been like the only place that you can get a beeline for is the Olives, but I can't stand olives, so I just would wait. So. Yeah, anyway, so I tried to come out to her then, but then I didn't think it was the right time. But then sort of like I got to, how old was I? 21? Maybe 20 actually. And I was going steady with my boyfriend at the time. And I'd taken him to my nan's house a few times. And I thought, I kind of need to tell her, don't I? Because it's going to come to a point where she's going to start asking questions. And I'd just rather I was up front with her rather than her like ask me questions in front of my granddad and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I drove up to her house, and then I was like, "Oh, do you want to like go into town or something?" And she was like, "Oh yes, that's fine. Let's bug off into Newport." And then we were going around, and Nan was like, "Do you fancy a Boswells?" So I was like, okay, yeah, typical like old lady cafe.
Always.
No offense, Boswells, but it just is the rep that it has in my family.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
they're a chain.
I had no idea.
They are. There we go.
I thought they were just a new.
They've got a few of them.
Oh my god.
Wow, there we go.
No, there's a chain. There's one in Newport in the Kingsway Centre. Big up.
Boswells, if you want to
Big up
sponsor us.
Boswells in Kingsway. Yeah, literally, come on.
Supporting crime. Anyway, yes.
But yes,
Boswells.
we went there, and then Nan ordered a lasagna for herself, and then I got a lasagna as well.
To order from Boswells.
I mean,
I know, it was quite nice lasagna, actually.
Yeah, I didn't even realise they sold like cooked meals other than like jacket potatoes.
Nan has this sort of like agreement with the woman behind the till as well, because Nan can never finish her lasagna while she's there, so she always takes the plate home with her and then brings it back the next day all washed.
So cute.
Bless her heart. But yeah, so we got the lasagna, everything, and we like sat outside of the cafe, but sort of like in its like courtyard bit. And then I was sort of like, well, Nan, I've got something to tell you. And she was like, well, what is it? And I said, well, I don't know, it might embarrass you. And she's like, well, don't tell me if it's embarrassing. And I said, well, no, I've sort of got to tell you, because like things are happening in my life now where it's sort of like, I got to tell you this. And then so I just said, oh, Nan, I'm gay. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she leant back in her chair, just sort of like savouring her mouthful of lasagna. And then she just said, I did think you were bisexual for a while, but you must have thought it was greedy, so I'm glad you've chosen. And then she was just like, I just never thought you'd ever tell me about your sexual preference and things like that. And I was like, well, no, I've sort of got to, really, because I didn't want to keep things a secret. And she was like, oh, okay. Fair enough, well, thank you for telling me. And then, we just sort of like went on about that. But I was just laughing at that bisexual gag, and I was thinking to myself, well, let's just hope that I wasn't bisexual, because that would have been offensive. But still, old people and how they think. Yeah, she would have just been like, get out, spit that lasagna out, get the fuck out of my sight. Yeah.
I thought my grandson was gay.
I would rather that. But yeah, so that was the whole. Oh yeah. She would have just been like, "I'm going to eat yours for you. You don't deserve it." But yeah, that was my coming out story to my dad. It was just really quite funny, and then we haven't really spoken about it since then. But it's just one of those things. Old people and their views and things like that. It's just not worth getting into.
Yeah. Do you think it's more like would you rather just them say, yeah, that's cool, I accept, and just kind of not have to talk about it? Is that better that it's not brought up and made a thing of?
Yeah, do you know what? Because I feel like if it was, like, if I just was talking about it quite openly, I think my nan would be a bit grossed out.
Yeah.
You know, because there's certain stories that I have, and I don't think she'd want to hear about the time that I was on my knees in a nettle patch, or, you know, that I was in the backseat of someone's car at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know.
I just, it's like some politicians, probably from her day, just said things openly just about gay community, bisexual community, everyone. Just in such a horrible way. That's just kind of accepted dialogue back in like the 50s, 60s. I mean, it's strangely accepted dialogue now, but...
Well, especially then, like, it wasn't too long after the Holocaust when there was like a huge sort of marginalisation of different communities, so...
Was there like a... Just to kind of maybe change the subject, was there like a defining moment when you realised you fully accepted who you were? Was there like a one moment?
Gay porn helped.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It did help. It did help. And it's quite funny as well because we had a family laptop, okay?
Oh, no.
And this is how I got caught out. Because my dad had a login on it, but he never used the laptop.
Login on Pornhub? Or...
Yes, I did. And I left the tab open on Dad's login. I don't know why I went on Dad's login to do it. But then he opened the laptop and it was like literally, the category was monster cot. And that, watching those videos helped me realise, you know, that I was like, okay, I can get into this, you know, like, this seems fun.
When was the first time you kind of ventured onto that category? Or that side of Pornhub?
Oh, God, I was young.
Yeah.
It must have been sort of like... I'd say sort of like... This probably, about sort of like year 8, 9. How old would you have been there? 12, 13?
Yeah. As soon as phones with the internet came out, that changed everything.
Yeah, when dial-up sort of went away and it was actually broadband, you know, when Joanna Lumley wouldn't tell you that you had email, you know.
Do you mind if I ask,
that's when I realised.
Do you mind if I ask about you talking about your coming out to your grandma? Like, I know you obviously you've got a younger sister and 2 parents. What did they know, or did you have to sort of come out to them like you did to your grandma, or?
Was it?
I came out to my mum, but I never came out to my dad because mum always said, "Oh, your dad just knows anyway." So I was like, okay, that sort of like beats the middleman. Then I don't ever have to say anything. And I think Dad sort of got the idea when I started bringing guys home and everything, and we'd go up into my room and stuff like that. And then because Fran was so young at the time, I don't think I ever really needed to tell her anyway. So I only really told my mum and my nan, and that was it really.
Yeah. When you said you brought guys home up into your room, did I ever pop up in conversation?
Well, I kept trying to give you a fizzy drink, but you wouldn't take it.
It smelled a bit funny.
It is. No. It was like when I started bringing like guys home, and then obviously, like I'm not gonna lie, the bed starts to creak because you know I've got a metal bed, and literally that noise, and then it's sort of like, okay, right, we know what's going on up there. We don't need closure. We just know.
Yeah. Just a really intense game of Monopoly.
Were they all...
Oh, God, yeah. Cluedo got mad back up in my room.
You get really sweaty with that as well.
Oh. Sweats you wouldn't even... A fag is always so good after Monopoly.
Oh, my gosh. I was going to say, was your mum accepting to it all and...
Oh, yeah. Everyone was all quite accepting. Like, I never really had a tough time with anyone.
That's good.
This is the thing. I just feel like... I don't know, maybe it's our generation are kind of quite accepting of things. I don't know, because like my sister's generation is quite different. Because obviously social media plays an even bigger part in their lives, you know what I mean? Because when we were younger, we still had video recorders. The internet was dial-up, like I said. We still had like best of both worlds.
We still went outside and played with friends and stuff.
Went outside and played. on our trampolines in our front garden, you know? But yeah, so I don't know if it's just our generation is a lot more accepting of things because a lot of us sort of like don't really give that much of a shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's sort of like, let you be you.
I remember I was talking to my old roommate James about it, and he said he's very similar in the fact that he didn't really receive any sort of resistance when he was coming out or when he's been telling anyone. But the main sort of I guess prejudice, I don't know whether he said that he feels kind of scared to, he said he feels scared to hold his boyfriend's hand walking around Newbury. And
really?
Yeah, but it's just kind of like things like that you feel the pressure of the outside world rather than the actual people that you talk to.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, to be fair, because like my ex-boyfriend now rather, he always had a bit of like a thing about PDA. But the thing is, I didn't classify holding hands down the street as PDA. And the thing is, I'm awful as well because I'm a very tactile person. You must remember from school that I would just sort of like always be sort of like touching people on the arm, sort of like always be like pally linking arms and stuff.
I was going to say,
so I always
link arms with you, like whenever we're walking somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm always that person.
Yeah, I remember always walking to drama with you, and we would always like link arms.
People are afraid to touch each other, especially like. I think, especially at that age,
and especially boys.
Boys are like, I don't want to link arms with someone. I'm not gay. It's like, well,
or even just even when you see pictures of guys like taking pictures with each other, like they're afraid to even put their hand around each other's waists. Yeah. Like it's just like
they're afraid to kiss.
Come on.
Yeah, they're afraid to just do each other in the bum.
I think it's because they're scared that gay chicken will get a bit out of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, as long as you say no homo after, it's fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, literally. There you go.
They'll be your last words, Harrison, before you die.
I'll be on my deathbed and I'll just be like, no homo. And then
You're not deep throating until you say no homo.
Did you ever? I know you said you've not really had any like negativity, but do you ever remember anything in school? Because obviously, me and Anna went to the same school, and while it was a lovely school, there was some real shit there. Like you said the other day, Anna, you had a memory of. Didn't you?
Harrison, do you remember that? Well, back to our science class. I remember people being. Like, you getting picked on a lot. We were, like, the little group in the corner. And just because we were with, like, the shitheads. Like, we had such a shit science class.
Yeah, it was a bit dumb.
It was, like, me, you, and Hannah. And then it was just, like, we were a group.
Hannah, by the way, if you're listening to this, I still am bitter that you copied all of my answers and got a higher mark than me in a lot of the exams that we did.
But I just remember you getting picked on a lot because of the whole gay thing, and and I was gonna say as well, like at the time we were at school, gay was the thing to say all the time. Like
it still is,
and it
still is,
and it's like like everyone just used to go, oh, that's gay and stuff like that. It was, and I just wanted to know how you felt about that, or if you have like any particular memories. I mean, they're not great memories, but any memories you want to.
Do you know what? It's funny you should say about this, actually, Anna, because I block a lot of like bad memories out.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like I'm trying to forecast my mind back,
yeah,
but I can't really remember too much of sort of like abuse that I got or anything.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
But I always gave people. Oh, go.
No, I was going to say because we obviously had the class with Mr. Crabbe. You were in Mr. Johnson's class as well.
Oh yes, I was pretty much with you, sister, the whole science time.
And I remember Mr. Johnson's class because he was such a shit teacher as it was. No one did anything dossed about. No, it's fine.
It was like a sick.
Okay, fuck you, Mr. Johnson.
Everyone called him Colin.
He had no teacher etiquette. Everyone was like, "Oh, Colin, you fucking mad cunt," and stuff like this.
So it was a bit of a shit class as it was anyway, because the teacher just couldn't control the class whatsoever. But I just remember us being in the corner, and you just get the odd thing being said over. Not just towards you, Harrison, but us as a group.
But this is the thing, when it comes to sort of when people would call me gay and stuff like that, it's like you're just stating the obvious, really. You've called me gay, let's move on.
It's like,
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the colour of the sky today.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's beautiful.
Well, it's
You know
a bit
what I
like
mean?
it is like a bit like looking up at the sky and just going like, "All right, blue boy." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
It's blue
It's
sky.
just
Like,
stating that. Yeah, literally. It's just not.
description.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also when people would like say the words like faggot and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had that much of an issue with it because I knew people, they didn't really mean it aggressively.
Yeah.
Because this is the issue that I have with like homophobic words and stuff. And I imagine there's a few people in the community that don't agree with sort of like what I'm about to say. But it's not the word itself, it's how you say the word.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
It's all
oh,
about
Harrison, you
context.
faggot. You know, oh, Harrison, you faggot. In a jokey way, that's funny. Like, I can get down with that. But if it's like, oh, Harrison, you faggot, aggressive,
Yeah.
then I have issue.
Yeah.
If there's a,
You know?
if there's a meaning behind it, if there's that subtext
Yeah.
that they understand, like most year 8s have no idea what they're saying, they just say it because their mates say it.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to educate my sister so much because obviously where she's like I think what year is she in now? 9, 10? I don't know. But when
Oh
she
my
was in year
God.
8,
That is insane.
she would always like come home and just be like, Harrison, you're gay, you're a faggot and stuff like this. But I was like, right, okay, I don't mind you saying it, but let me just tell you when is the right time to say it, if there is ever a right time.
Well,
And also just make you aware of the sort of people you say it around, because obviously you could say it around me because I don't give a shit, but maybe don't go to like, I don't know, a gay bar and just go into people's face and call them faggots.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do that, you
Yeah.
know?
like I haven't thought about this before, but I learnt literally nothing about gay culture in school.
No.
Literally
No.
nothing. Like
No.
everything from like,
Kids
the
nowadays
Stonewall
as
riots
well.
to everything up to
Yeah.
London, I learnt after school.
Yeah, literally. But the thing is, I feel a bit envious of kids now because with programs on Netflix such as sex education and things like that,
Yeah.
they've got it so easy.
Yeah.
And it's
We
a
had
bit like,
nothing like that.
I don't know how to feel about it, actually.
Well, we were saying like we watched the High School Musical series on Disney Plus, and like there's a gay couple.
That looks crap, if I'm honest. I can't be asked to watch it. Is it any
But
good?
It's really
It's so much better than I thought. I thought I was going to hate it, but I ended up.
Oh, really?
enjoying
Okay.
It. But there's like a gay couple in that, and I'm like, this is like a kind of like a
And they don't make a big thing of it.
it's just a like a bog standard TV show. It's
Yeah.
not about anything sort of LGBTQ plus specific. It's just
Yeah,
it's great
it's just
that
they
they
just
put
happen
stuff
to
in
be
it.
there.
Yeah, it's just part of the show. Like there's,
Yeah, it is. But it's quite amazing how much sort of like gay people are just the fabric. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? We are everywhere.
Well,
Like I just merge into social groups and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and I'm just always just there. It's not like a big hoo-ha when I'm there. I'm just there.
yeah, definitely.
Except now, because obviously I'm on the podcast and, I am making a big hoo-ha about being gay, but, that's for the purposes of this.
But
Yeah.
I feel specifically in kind of like mainstream like TV and film. There's been so much more representation in the past like 2-3 years, if not a bit longer. But like
Queer Eye and stuff like that have blown up,
Oh.
haven't they? And
yeah.
Oh, yes, that went crazy. I haven't actually seen the latest season, though. Because I've got Disney Plus as well, I've been trying to do a Simpsons marathon.
yeah.
And I'm on like season 17 now out of 30.
wow.
How long's that taken you?
Well, I have been doing it on and off, if I'm honest. I did like nearly a month when we first got Disney Plus in like April, but then it got to a point where I was literally just seeing yellow. So I need to take myself away from this now, and like I seriously do. And I have seen quite a lot of episodes anyway, because it comes to a point where pretty much every day I do probably call it at least 20-40 times from The Simpsons,
Yeah.
So it's just a bit of a recap show really, but I'm enjoying it.
And the great thing about Disney Plus is that it's only $4.99 a month, or $59.99. We're trying to get a sponsor, or $59.99 for the whole year.
It's not bad, is it?
It's really good for what you get. Hey, Disney,
Please sponsor us.
Originals like The Mandalorian and
Nat Geo, and Star Wars and Marvel. I was going to say, do you remember? I don't know if you will remember. This might just be a me and Lawrence thing, but our friend Lawrence, who is now an amazing
drag queen in Scotland.
Yeah. He's
Like, honestly, when I met him back up in Scotland, I was like, honestly, congratulations to you, bitch. Like, you have done, like, I didn't think that it would go this way, but I'm so glad it has for you, because you have so much to give, you have so much talent with it as well.
Incredible. Lawrence Cheney,
we went to try and go, Lawrence Cheney, follow him on Instagram, let's give him a shout out. Come on, hoes. Yeah, I tried to see a show, but he was ill while we were up there, so we couldn't do it. But I watched another drag show anyway, and it was good, but not a proper Lawrence Cheney production, you know?
No.
But anyway, yeah, carry on what you were saying.
I was just going to say, like, talking about Simpsons, I don't know if you remember, me and Lawrence would always go to the British Heart Foundation charity shop in Newbury and buy Simpsons VHSs and, like...
Yes. Yes, I remember doing that. I think I went with you a few times,
I think you did too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I remember I bought a season 1 DVD from Oxfam, but it turns out it was region 1, not region 2, so I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, and I now have that DVD.
Do you?
Yeah,
What still?
You gave it to me because because it was the wrong region, and then I worked out how to change the region on my laptop, but then I realised you can only change the region like 3 times, so I have an old laptop that I'm stuck with that I can only watch American DVDs.
Well, yeah. I mean, it comes in use, I suppose.
Yeah,
wow.
It's in like a little silver cardboard box.
Yeah, wasn't it season 1?
Season 1, that's right.
Yeah. Oh God, memories. I don't remember giving it to you, but I'm glad it's given you so much happiness.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was that gave it to me, but I remember being given it by someone. It was you.
It was me. It was full circle, motherfucker. I tell you.
I'm trying to think if we had any like gay teachers in school that we knew of, but I can't really think.
We had Miss Hayes, who is a lesbian.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
PE Miss Hayes. I think she was a lesbian. I swear she was a lesbian.
Really?
Yeah.
There was a big hoo-ha about it.
Yeah, her
Must be a
office.
PE thing.
Her office was by the boys' changing rooms.
Yeah.
Because
it was
because she was a lesbian, which is like kind of gross.
Yeah.
That was done to her, but it was a different.
That she was
time.
almost ostracised.
Yeah.
I think in a way it's probably a good thing, because you know how girls are like at that age. Like Anna, you sort of touched on it a little bit earlier on, where it's like if she went into the girls' change rooms, you know there would have been people like the Alicias.
Oh yeah.
Who would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing in this? Why are you looking at my funny You know, it just would have caused too much beef.
Yeah.
And the parents would come in and be like, one of your teachers is a lesbian.
Yeah, I can't even say the word.
It must have been horrible for her though as well, because like on the flip side, you put her by the girls' changing room and you get that, and you put her by the boys' changing room and you get boys constantly talking about how there's a lesbian, like by the changing room. You know what I mean? It was like the topic of the conversation, and the boys didn't really. Well, most of the boys didn't really care.
Well, boys love lesbians though.
True.
But lesbians don't
So I don't think many of them gave a shit.
No. Lesbians love PE. Well, not all of them, but that's specific. That specific one.
To be fair, it's quite funny because my mum also had a lesbian female PE teacher at her school as well back in the day.
I also did as well.
Maybe it's
God. I'll tell ya.
I wonder, like.
I'm trying to think if there were any other gay ones now. I can't really remember.
Oh, do you remember there was a science? I used to talk to Lawrence about this. There was a science teacher. No, he was a teaching assistant. Sorry, and he was there when we were in year 7, and he used to be in my science class. And all he used to say, it was like his catchphrase was, "Is everything okay?" Do you remember him?
Who was that?
I don't remember.
No, Lawrence used to do a really good impression.
I can't remember him.
Fair enough.
Maybe. But then again, you were in the clever science classes.
No,
so
I wasn't. No, I was not.
Yes, you were. You were in the other half. And they were so horrid and like split the dumb people and the good people, and like
that's cool.
That is
sorry, dumb people.
I know, because all the smart people had maths while we did science, and then when you guys had science,
it was the flip side.
Yeah. And we always had the shit people, didn't we, Harrison?
We weren't in the same maths clo though, were we?
No.
Anna?
I remember.
You were cleverer than me in maths. I was in the set below you.
God.
I remember once at our school, in languages in like GCSE, like year 10, they for some reason one day just like half swapped the worst and best set.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they took half of the best set and half of the worst set and swapped them.
That sounds like a really shit idea.
It was interesting.
Do you know what I remember being...
I can imagine the results would have been quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like you had the really, really amazing people just laughing all the time at the bad people. It was kind of not good for anyone.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I imagine there would have just been more distractions and there would have been learning.
Yeah.
I remember like one of my first days at school, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna determine what PE sets you're in," and I was like,
Cross
"Okay,
country.
cool. Yeah, let's do a cross country." It's like, right, it's like
Oh
that's
my
not a good
God,
way
yeah.
to decide. And then I got in the bottom set because I can't run cross country.
Because I was in set 3 for PE, which was the one above bottom.
Yeah.
And then when I broke my foot, I then got bumped down to your set. And I was like, I can still do sports. And then they were like, no.
We just let
them run around.
No
a bit.
offense.
Yeah.
To anyone.
I remember we did like an obstacle course in like the main hall once, and it was just Lawrence was just wetting himself at how Rob was running around the course. Because he was like doing this sort of like Hunchback of Notre Dame run.
Oh, yeah. So we used to just piss about in PE because we were in the bottom set. And
Yeah.
I don't think all of us should have been in the bottom set, but we were anyway. And,
I think it was rigged, to be honest.
There was
They knew we could do good things, and they didn't want us to be in the forefront.
there was a relay race that talk about Lawrence loads, but that Lawrence did, and I think that was it when he was scared of our friend Robert. So we used to get.
He wasn't scared.
I don't understand the reference. I can't remember what it's from. I think it's Doctor Who, but we had to get our friend Robert to shout, "Cesare of Diplos is coming," and Lawrence was like, "Oh, I'm off," and then he'd like leg it. It's such a specific thing. It's so weird.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, bless. The memories.
They
The
knew
memories.
you were creative, so they had to put you in a bottom set PE.
Yeah, literally. God, the rain is coming down. I'm sorry if this is disrupting the audio.
That's okay. It'll just
You
be
might be able to hear it,
bucketing
but
it.
atmosphere,
Yeah.
whatever.
I was going to say,
Oh, well.
another
Everyone's going to be needing a wee.
Yeah, another class Tom and Harrison and I were in. And again, it's a bit of, I think they did a mixed thing with our top set English class.
I knew you could say that.
With Mrs. Ellard, Harrison.
Oh, I loved her.
Oh my gosh.
I loved her. I have this thing with old women, as you know. I just have this almost like infatuation with them. She was great. Do you remember when she tripped over?
I was literally just
Yes.
going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up.
And what was the end?
Oh, that was so... She fell flat into that door. She just tripped and just... Boom, bang!
So
Straight into that.
She was doing this for context with Jake. She was doing this impression.
Dick Emery
She
impersonation.
always used to talk to Harrison about the Dick Emery.
Oh, you are
show.
awful, but I like
But
you.
that,
And then
like,
just-
and then Dick Emery turns around and trips over, and she turned around and actually tripped over. I'm like, she went like head first into a locked door. And I remember there was a moment of silence when everyone thought she just died.
Yeah, because she was like down for 3 seconds and everyone was like, shit. And then she
What do
stood
we
up and
do?
just went, oh.
It was such a loud thud.
I remember that.
It was like,
And she was like, we shan't talk about that. And then we just carried on with the rest of our fucking lesson. Like,
it was
can we
literally
not
like,
talk about this?
like, oh, you are awful, but I like you. It was like a proper thud.
She even hit me as well, because like the character Dick Emery, when he does that, he like pushes the person like, on the shoulder. So she pushed me on the shoulder, and I like moved back a little bit, was laughing, and then she had like those like, do you remember those like weird cut off welly shoes that she used to wear?
God, yeah.
It was those, and I think she just pretended to trip, and then just like you say, just went with it, and
Oh.
Were you
the
gonna say?
memories.
I know, who was it you were talking about the other day when we were talking about Mrs. Ellard's class? Was it when Gook was covering our class?
Gook.
Right, so
Yeah.
Gook.
Oh.
Mr. Gook.
So there used to be a
Park House has the most ridiculous
Yeah.
teachers ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
You missed
Yeah.
that, Jake, I'm telling you.
I
We
know.
had this is not what you were talking about, but
No.
we had one teacher who was called Miss Horfice, so everyone called her Mrs. Horface.
Oh, yeah.
And then to remedy that, she got married to someone called Mr. Sitholy.
And everyone just used to call her shithole.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What Anna was talking about was
you missed out.
do you remember when we did an inspector calls, we had a controlled assessment that we were doing, and Gook came in. Gook is like the substitute teacher that everyone wants because he's.
You just do whatever you want. Yeah.
We're friends with Gook now, and he's got like a history major or like classics, I think.
Yeah, he's like.
Yeah.
He teaches A-level English now. He's like the main head. I think he's head of English.
Does he?
Yeah.
Go on, give him my regards the next time you see him.
I will.
He was a bit of a lad, bit sort of like. Didn't really make you do any work when he was a substitute. Don't know if he's different now. Anyway, he came in to cover our controlled assessment, and because it was Gook, everyone just like really messed about.
We're meant to be in silence.
And then when Miss Ellard found out, she came back in, and I've never been so scared in my life. She like,
oh my god,
like military
she wanted blood
outside the classroom.
I just remember having that whole lesson, and we just sat there in silence, not even doing anything. She just made us sit in silence for the whole lesson to see if we could do it.
She said there were a group of about 6 people that were messing around and talking and distracting each other, and obviously this was like a proper AQA exam, so it was a big deal. And she was like,
our grade, wasn't it?
I want you to come and stand up in front of the class, come forward, stand up here, and then we'll talk about your punishment or something like that.
Did we have to redo it?
Well, what happened in the end was that she just let it go because she realised that because it was a controlled assessment, she shouldn't have put a substitute teacher in charge. We should have been doing something else. So she let it go in the end, but it was so scary. I was one of the people as well.
Of course you were.
I was such a good kid as well,
Yeah,
right?
you
And
were.
I was just like, but yeah, we were talking about that the other day when we were talking about who's going on. Yeah.
Oh, I do remember. Fond memories.
Yeah.
Have you picked up anything that you didn't think you would in lockdown, or to keep yourself busy? Driveway building.
No, not really. I mean, I bleached my hair.
Oh, nice.
I grew my fingernails really long.
Yeah.
But then they broke. So that was sad. What else did I do? I did do something else. But then again, it's sort of like, because I've been trying to like chat to guys and everything, and then trying to find a day during lockdown, or trying to just sort of like talk to someone because you just want to meet them, and then it never really works, does it?
The opening line's got to be like, okay, how many households have you surrounded yourself in within the past 24 hours?
Yeah, literally.
I think
it's almost like, instead of being like clean for like STIs and everything, it's just, are you clean from Corona?
I think there's a TV
I don't give a shit about AIDS. I just want to know if it's Corona. Yeah.
I think there's a TV show on at the minute called like Dating in Lockdown or something.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't watched it. But
I have been on a few dates in lockdown, actually.
How have they differed?
I mean, you wouldn't have thought it was a lockdown date, really. Because I hate to say it, and I know I might get called out, but no social distancing really happened.
No, we've been on walks together, like, before sort of lockdown was eased a bit, and we started off social distancing, but then it's just impossible. You end up like next to each other.
And like with the whole thing, like, it's got to be 2 meters unless you can go. You can go 1 meter unless you can go 2 meters. Oh well, actually you can go a bit less than that. It's like, well, make up your mind, and otherwise people just do what they want, and they have. And
what the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been well within 1 meter. I mean, like. I've made out with them, for goodness sake.
You've been in negative figures at this point.
Yeah, I have been in negative. I wanted to say that, but it would sound like I was like doing the dirty.
Line has been crossed, don't worry. Yeah. The line's far back.
The line's adopted.
Yeah, true. I have been inside them, but not in the way that you'd think.
Well, thanks for taking the time to chat to us, Harrison. It's been
anytime. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Have you got anything
Next time, hopefully, I can actually see your faces.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have you back on when we can go together. Have you got anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get around to, or?
Do a shout out.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Any shout outs
Other
or
than
anything?
fuck the haters.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to fuck the haters.
Yeah, shout out to fuck the haters, indeed. No, shout outs. Just shout out to everyone to be happy. Shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Love that.
Let's just sort of like try not to all get in your head. Lockdown will soon be over. You know, everything will maybe go back to normal, but you know.
But that's what's
Just
kind
be
of nice
happy.
about doing stuff like this, is even though we're stuck inside, we can still kind of hear each other's
Say that
voices.
again, because I literally just went.
That's why it's kind of nice to do stuff like this, just because even though you're in lockdown, you can still hear each other's voices and do all that same stuff and catch up.
Thank God for this, because if it was back in the day, we'd be doing this through smoke
I was
signals.
going to say, yeah, it'd be a nightmare. Morse code.
Homing pigeons.
Yes.
Yeah, literally, I'll just send it.
You up?
What is the tea? Go, go. Mush.
Yeah, go, Avanti.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming
Thank
on,
you,
Harrison.
Harrison.
It was such a good
But
time.
thank you very much for having me, you ragtag bunch of misfits. I very much enjoyed it. The power thruffle. Love it.
Power throttle.
That's our next podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for listening, and thanks for joining, Harrison.
Yes, thank all you
Well,
bitches for
officially-
listening.
Should we officially just...
I don't know if I've helped anyone, but, you know,
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed listening to me.
Definitely.
I-
It's always
I've got plenty more stories where that comes from.
Amazing.
Thank it. We'll tap that mine.
Yeah, we could have a Harrison.
Oh, please do.
Harrison's segment.
There's gold in them mountains.
Harrison's gold mine.
We can have Harrison's pet peeve every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should I do a whole Peter Griffin? Do you know what really grinds my
Yeah,
gears?
that's what I was thinking. You are great, mate.
There's really specific, really specific weekly updates.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I'll send them to you.
Yeah, be like, and this week's pet peeve from Harrison is... Then we just,
Pets.
just pets.
Pets, yeah.
Pet
Who wants a
peeves.
fucking
Weekly
pet?
peeves. I hate them.
Oh.
Should we do an official
Amazing.
bye?
Let's do an official bye, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to
Yeah.
follow us on...
Oh, yeah.
things? Follow us on... What are we on? Instagram, Twitter,
What are we called, Anna?
WITMOT.
Follow us with at
WITMOT podcast.
WITMOT.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harrison.
Sounds like some sort of like weird American news station, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome to WITMOT.
WITMOT.